I mean, what a way to start the season with both the Premier League coming back and El Clasico right from the get-go. We had the Miami El Clasico, which was a great success, the friendly game. And then now we have actually the Supercup El Clasico, which was as eventful as we would expect. Ronaldo turns up, scores, takes his shirt off, and basically a little tongue-in-cheek comment to Lionel Messi for doing the same thing, and then gets sent off. So the point with that is, my quick analysis is Ronaldo now facing what, 5 games?
5-game match ban.
For being sent off, nudging the referee, blah, blah.
Look, we know the rules. You can't rip up his diary, you can't touch the ref.
Yeah, there's rules in place because you have to be strict on things like that. Usually I'd like to give any player the benefit of the doubt and think that they're being harsher on a Ronaldo or to send a message, but there is no distinct line, as we've talked about. What's the difference between touching a referee and punching a referee? Like, you have to be as harsh on any sort of physical contact.
About 5 games and about 25 games.
No, but I mean, like in the rule book, there's no differentiation.
Right, you can't touch the ref.
You touch the referee, that's it. And then I've always felt this way in Spanish football, is they get very close to the referee and they always swarm them. The referees in Spain, I think, have some of the toughest jobs. That's why when you watch it, it's so frustrating because he calls so many fouls, because he's basically pressured to give so many fouls. Whenever anyone's touched, bang, they go down and everyone swarms a referee. So it gets a little frustrating.
It's a tough job.
Nonetheless, the conversation already has been brought up. Is Barcelona's problems already evident going into the season after a 3-1 defeat to their better rivals?
Here's the reason why I bring it up, and I don't want people to freak out and be like, this is clickbaity or ridiculous. Does Barcelona have... I'm gonna give you just my quick takeaway, Francis, and then run with this, because I watched the Supercup. I know La Liga opens this weekend. Barcelona and Real Madrid both play on Sunday, and it could be a totally different turnaround. I always find it impossible to believe that they don't take any El Clasico seriously. It could be a friendly in Miami, and it means something.
Yeah.
It's still not as much, but it means something. The Supercup, there's a trophy eventually on the line. It means something, and of course, when you get to La Liga play, it means maybe a little bit more. It seems like, and I call this gravity, and I'm sure you guys use it too in the footballing world. Maybe there's a different word for it, but I use it all the time when talking about basketball. When Neymar was there, it was terrifying. I refuse to believe that people weren't afraid, defenders, back fours in La Liga, because you had to worry about Suarez making indirect cuts right to the hole, which is the basketball term again, but to the net, Messi's brilliant passing and of course dribbling skills, and then Neymar being able to dominate off the wing. Am I still okay? Still right here? Okay.
Sounds.
You take Neymar out of that equation, and you really don't have to pay as much of attention to whoever's gonna fill that void right now, unless they make a different transfer signing, which you'll get into in just a second, because you get to focus a little bit more on marking Suarez, and if a little bit more focus goes on marking Suarez, you might not give up as many goals to a Suarez or a Messi. And when you're Real Madrid and your squad is still deeper than the Grand Canyon, well, seems like Real Madrid has the upper hand, and the season hasn't even started, so it's a ridiculously early takeaway. It's just, Barcelona hasn't seemed like Barcelona that won the treble. They seem like they lost one of their 3-headed monsters, and now they're just a 2-headed monster and a severed headed monster.
But the thing is, like, for me, it's not even as much that Neymar,
the front three,
being lost is the problem. It's like defensively they still look weak when defending counterattacks, and this stems from the exact same style of play that we seen in El Clasicos last season, with Barcelona pounding at the door. They controlled the possession for the majority of the first half, but when they get hit on a counterattack, they cannot handle the pace and prowess of Real Madrid. The same thing happened.
Can anybody?
But I don't know if anyone can, but you have to do your best to try and absorb it. Like when Marcelo springs free and Rakitic is slow to react, and then suddenly the ball finds its way to Cristiano Ronaldo and he's one-on-one with Piqué, like it happens time and time again. And Real Madrid are the best at taking advantage of that. They bring on one of the best and most exciting young prospects in the world with Asensio, and he comes on and he's able to devour Barcelona's backline. And this is where my problem comes. Yeah, Neymar not being there is going to reduce your attacking threat, especially if you don't replace him. If you've got a Denis Suarez coming on, or you've got a De La Flu, I can never pronounce it.
I just watched that.
De La Flu, who's, by the way, I think he's an exciting talent. I'm not blaming him, or Paulinho, who they signed. I'm not going to blame them. But I think a Coutinho or a Dembele needs to come in and replace that void. I think they have to be the type of player to fill in if you want to go ahead with that front three that you perfected a couple of years back to try and get it back to that point. But defensively, they have to be aware that by pounding Real Madrid, they are just as dangerous sitting in their own 6-yard box as they are in your final third. In any given moment, they can spring forward. That's what they play to. That's their game plan, especially against Barcelona. They know how to play against their opponent. I think Barcelona, not as much as they have problems, they just don't know how to play against Real Madrid anymore. That's where my issue is they don't have a system that breaks down Real Madrid as well as they used to. Whether that's Neymar not being there, whether that's a fear of not committing too many men forward, but they still do so.
Constant coaching change, managerial change.
Coaching change is going to be a big problem.
And I liked Enrique a lot. I liked him as like his character. I just want to show you Barcelona's starting 11. This is what they lined up with, standard 4-3-3. Yeah. Even I know this at this point. The joke I made to Francis before we started the show was when we used to do Let's Talk Tactics. I used to ask Francis where I'd go to the starting 11, and every single day he'd say the same exact thing.
Sky Sports.
Go to Sky Sports. You go to results. You click on the team. You go to teams. Take a screenshot.
That's it.
And then I would write them down and I'd flip them. And he'd be like, why do you mirror them every single time? I'm like, because look, he's facing down.
Left from right, right from left.
Down. But so
that, look at that young lad. It's a youngish. It's an unproven back four because they changed it, right? So when you have Sergio Roberto filling in at right back due to the untimely and way too early selling of Dani Alves, it caused a problem. And now Vidal steps in, who again is a promising young fullback, but you need to understand that you're playing against the best team in the universe with one of the best players in the universe who just stop already. Like, just learn from this one goal against PK that the guy's not going to slow down. So even if he does have a couple of bad patches, just remember that he's going to have these moments time and time again because he's keeping himself in shape and he's always going to be able to deliver like this. It's just being able to withstand counterattacks and have these players have the maturity to remain as a unit at the back four. And I think that Barcelona, selling Neymar is of course the headline, but they haven't, in my opinion, replaced their back line to remain as strong as what they were when they had Piqué and Mascherano as two fantastic centre-backs working well together, Dani Alves and Jordi Alba. Yeah, they were so frightening going forward, but that back line was almost impenetrable at times, and they're very penetrable now.
Interesting, and it's going to make for and
make for sexual comments in the comment section below. Because I said penetrable.
Penetrable. These are
what can you do?
Big words. Did you see Pog Kaka?
Nope.
Somebody combined Pogba and Kaka's jersey to make 69. Pog Kaka. And Lad Bible goes, amazing or just terrible?
Yeah.
Or burn it with fire.
Or either.
Lastly, this has nothing to do with anything, but hey, literal breaking news. Everton agree a £45 million deal for Swansea's Gylfi Sigurdsson. Medical tomorrow.
Wow, 45 million for Sigurdsson.
Everton to win the Premier League, maybe? No. Comment below.